as they arrive in Kansas City. Before barbecue, though, AJ Hinch and I stopped by the Negro League Museum to check things out. Very cool experience. But before you head to the ballpark, AJ, what are your keys to this series this weekend?
I think keep putting pressure on the opponent. We hit first, we score first, we put a lot of pressure on them, we fire a elite starting pitcher at them. We've been playing pretty complete baseball, so much of the same of this road trip. We've had an incredible start to this road trip. We'd like to finish it playing the same brand of baseball. 3
games with the Royals. Good luck with that. It's time to send you out to Kauffman Stadium now, though.
Todd Callis, Jeff Blum on the call. Be good and enjoy the game.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Deep to center field. This ball's crushed. What a special intro from Julian, the skipper, AJ Hinch, as we welcome you to Kansas City, Missouri. The Houston Astros in town for a weekend series. The Astros have been unbelievable on this road trip, a perfect 7-0. Now games 8, 9, and 10 will conclude at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another night of Astros baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Blummer, beginning of the year, it was really a pitcher-dominated Astros team. Lately, especially during this winning streak, we have seen the offense come alive.
Yeah, it's been eerily reminiscent to 2017 with how the offense has gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, but it's also eerily reminiscent to 2017 because we are starting to see these bats light it up. They love hitting on the road. They're doing a very good job at the top part of the lineup. George Springer is the obvious guy who leads off these ball games, always a threat to put the Astros on the board early, but he's been backed up by Alex Bregman and this guy right here, HOU Altuve, getting a ton of hits, and then you hit the middle part of the order.
And then you've got La Pina and the Caveman, Yuli Gurriel and Evan Gattis, and they are really on a roll together. 25 hits, 25 RBIs during this 8-game winning streak. A day off today for Yuli, but he has deserved it because he has been raking, and Evan has been as hot as anybody for over a month. Good thing about this lineup, though, all the way top to bottom, they're producing.
Yeah, you think you're done getting 2/3 through this lineup, then you have to deal with the bottom 3, and down at the bottom, you've got Tony Kemp, who's been doing a phenomenal job of getting on base, being a pest down at the bottom part of that order before he flips it over. But that guy right there, Marwin Gonzalez, has been doing a great job in the last 9 games. 444 batting average. He's letting the ball travel a little bit more. We'll talk about that swing, but these guys, top to bottom, are a threat.
Time for our Lowe's whole team together. And when you break down the segments of the lineup, 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9, the bottom third, getting it done.
They are getting it done. They're getting it done with power, too. Brian McCann sneaking down there. He had a cannonball the other day. But what I like is those guys in that 1 through 3 spot, they're not chasing out of the zone trying to make things happen. They're getting on base and letting those guys behind them do some damage.
So hopefully there'll be some offensive support tonight for a guy who has struggled a little bit in the month of June. Only 2 starts in, and last start was not his favorite. Charlie Morton back on the hill today against the Royals.
Yeah, to say the least. Charlie Morton got a little wild out of the zone, hit a couple of hitters, walked 6 guys. But for Charlie Morton in the month of June, it has not been pretty. Those runners that have been getting on have been scoring runs, but there's always an opportunity for Charlie to go out there and correct it. He understands what he's doing wrong. It's a little more of a rotation and timing issue with his delivery. If he gets things right and that breaking ball is working tonight, it should be a very good evening getting back on the strikeout side for Charlie.
When we come back to Kansas City, we will break down further the hitting of Marwin Gonzalez as Blummer takes us through some of his swing keys and why he's been swinging a hot bat lately. First of 3 at Kauffman Stadium, as the Astros will have Charlie Morton on the mound tonight, and our Shiner Box spotlight falls on Marwin Gonzalez playing first base this evening.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job moving all over the field. That's a huge asset for A.J. Hinch, but it's also nice that the switch-hitting Marwin Gonzalez is swinging the bat extremely well. He has seen a lot of off-speed pitches early this season, adjusting to those, but we saw him chasing quite a bit early on in the season, and some of the adjustments he's made here of late is being a little more patient, but seeing the ball up and letting the ball travel. We're going to have a chance to look at a couple of slow-motion swings. This is from the World Series last year. We're going to check out Marwin getting to contact, and this is on a pitch he drives the other way. You're going to see typically if a guy goes out there and tries to pull the baseball, he's going to get the head out there a little bit deeper, but he's catching this one deep behind that front leg. Usually if you go out there and try and pull, you're going to get well out in front, make contact, and yank it down the line. When you need to let the ball travel like Marwin is doing right now, that's how you get locked in again and stay off some of that off-speed down. What I also like about what Marwin's doing right now is that foot's down early and he's creating separation between the hands and the foot. That tells me that the hands are getting loaded, the foot's down early, the eyes are recognizing the pitch, and he is absolutely flying the barrel of the bat through the strike zone. And this one right here, he actually drove out for an oppo taco. So Marwin Gonzalez locked in, swinging the bat well.
AJ has him in that lineup today against the right-hander Jacob Junis, so he will bat left-handed at least the first couple of ABs as the Astros go for 9 in a row and try and stay perfect on this road trip. We'll have more from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City as we roll on a Friday night. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees, that's transparency. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. Astros have won 8 in a row, and part of the reason the top of the order has been getting started early. Julian Morales will come by and tell us why after this.
chilly in Kansas City, and the Astros are as hot as the temperature is here in the city of fountains. The Astros are playing the baseball they've been really waiting for a long time so far this season. They're scoring early, they're scoring often, and that's what they've been built to do. This lineup can do it. They're deep enough. Our Toyota Get Out and Play looks a little closer on when they're scoring. I said early and often, I wasn't kidding about the early part. They're scoring first, and that's something we haven't seen all season. But recently, they're on this 8-game win streak, 7 right here on the road. They've scored 37 runs in the first 4 innings of the game, and that's putting pressure on the other side. It's exactly what this offense has been trying to get to. They knew they could do it, and they've been winning because of it, and they're getting production up and down this lineup. But really impressive when you think about this stretch, guys, compared to the rest of the season. As I mentioned earlier, the offense was a little bit inconsistent. We saw the starting pitching so good all year long still. But this has really been the difference here recently. The batting average in the last 8, 380 compared to the 246. This is the first 4 innings that we're talking about. But the runs per game, how about the runs per game being 4.63 in the last 8? They were under 2 runs a game early innings for the rest of the season. And it all starts with the guys at the top of the order who set the tone, starting with George Springer, who loves to hit at this ballpark, TK.
Yes, he does. He just finished off the series against the A's where he's been raking, and he also likes to face the Kansas City Royals. Our Astros starting lineup is presented by Southwest Airlines with George at the top in center field. Alex Bregman back in there in the number 2 position. He's playing third base. Jose Altuve hits third. Carlos Correa at shortstop. Josh Reddick is in right field. Evan Gattis DHs, night off for Yuli Gurriel. Marwin Gonzalez will play first base. Brian McCann behind the plate, and Tony Kemp at ninth and left field.
On the mound for the Kansas City Royals, you're checking out Jacob Junis. 13 starts this season. He has made 30 starts in his career. He is 5-6 on the season, throwing 80 innings, has 76 strikeouts. He is heavy on the sinking fastball to right-handed hitters, and with that sinker, he throws a ton of sliders. So he's trying to get in underneath the hands of right-handed hitters and then throw that slider away to get those strikeouts.
Astros faced him once last year. It was his second career start. As we are underway on a warm Friday night, called strike to start this one, and the Astros and Royals are 2 teams basically heading in opposite directions. The Astros winners of 8 in a row and 7 in a row on this road trip. Royals have lost 9 out of 10, and they have really been struggling to score runs lately.
This is a ballpark where you have to manufacture them unless you've got the thunder that the Astros bring.
Springer takes a called strike. It's 1-2. 91 degrees at game time. With the heat index and the humidity, it feels like it's 96. And today should be the most comfortable of the 3 days for our JMI. Julian Morales index will be put on test the next couple of days. Afternoon baseball here in Kansas City. Line drive center field coming on Abraham Almonte, and he makes a sliding catch. Springer hit it hard, but to straightaway center. Almonte able to make the play.
A slider right down the middle of the plate. George did a good job of staying behind it, but Almonte coming in quickly to make the catch.
I'll bring up Alex Bregman. Bregman had his 10-game hitting streak snap in the final game in Oakland yesterday, but he maintained his on-base streak. He's reached in 25 straight. Alex was the leadoff hitter yesterday, and he lines one to the third baseman, Mike Moustakas. Astros early on hitting into some tough luck. Starting defense is presented by Xfinity. Almonte made that first play in center field. He is flanked by the 5-time Gold Glover Alex Gordon in left, and Jorge Soler is the right fielder. You saw Moose make that play at third. He actually played some first base last weekend. Alcides Escobar is a shortstop. Whit Merrifield at second, and Hunter Dozier is the first baseman. Salvador Perez does a good job shutting down the running game behind the plate. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve carrying an even .400 road batting average into this game. That leads all of baseball. And he's at 96 hits well on pace for yet another 200-hit season. It would be his 5th in a row.
This is a big AB. Don't want to fall under 400.
Altuve should get to that century mark in hits the way he's going sometime during this series, if not in this series, certainly early in the next homestand. Junis has fallen behind 3-0 to Altuve. There's a strike called. Home plate umpire tonight is the rookie umpire, Jeremy Rehak. Mark Wegner, the crew chief, John Tumpain, and Mike DeMuro, your umpiring crew for this weekend. Now Altuve has the count full. .33 hits for Altuve in his last 19 games. That is a .423 clip. Pops this one in the air, shallow center field. Waiting for it is Almonte. And Jacob Junis has a 1-2-3 first. Merrifield has been hot for the Kansas City Royals. He leads things off. Mike Moustakas bats second. Salvador Perez behind the plate. Jorge Soler in left. Hunter Dozier gets the start at first base. Alcides Escobar, Paulo Orlando, and Abraham Almonte round out your Royals lineup.
Charlie Morton on the mound, more affectionately known as CFM when he's on that mound, but last time he was out there it might have been a little bit different tone in that CFM voice, considering he went out there and walked 6 guys, hit 4 batters, but he's looking to correct that, bounce back a little bit for Charlie Morton. Numbers on the season still quite good, especially that record at 7-1 and that ERA at 2.82.
See how he fares against the Kansas City Royals, a team he hasn't faced in a while. Charlie last pitched against them in the 2015 season. And he delivers a called strike to Whit Merrifield. Merrifield, last 40 games hitting .327, currently riding a 5-game hitting streak. He's 8 for 19. He's one of the few Royals that has been hot lately. As Charlie quickly gets ahead 0-2. Good to see Charlie come out and throw a couple strikes.
It's a great start already, isn't it?
If there was ever a personality that was better suited to rebound off a tough outing, I'm not sure who would be better than Charlie Morton.
Yeah, this is a guy that has an idea. And talking to AJ before the game, he knows Charlie very well. Charlie knows himself very well, but it was a lot of issues with the delivery of Charlie Morton. But we've seen him have some explosive innings at times. That big inning for Houston Astro pitching is even in that first inning.
That was the first one he missed with. You could see McCann set up inside and he yanked it outside.
And it was more of the breaking ball to that outside corner or inside to left-handed hitters he was having trouble locating.
Yanks that one a little bit. It's 2-2. 2 career starts for Morton. Charlie pitched against the Royals in 2009 and then again in 2015. Morton with the Pirates for both of those starts. And after getting ahead 0-2, Charlie's now fallen to a full count.
Yeah, Whit Merrifield's a pretty good ball player out there, has a good idea in the zone. He's done a great job at the top end of this order.
Fouls the fastball off at 98. Charlie normally averages around 96, 96.1 with the fastball. Only Garrett Cole, Mike Foltynewicz, and Luis Severino higher amongst starting pitchers. Popped in the air, shallow right, Altuve out, Reddick in. It's Josh Reddick who makes the call on the catch. And Morton gets a fly out to start this one. The impressive thing about his last start is that he was able to work around those 6 walks and 4 hit by pitches and only allow 1 earned run in 3 2/3 innings. 2 runs overall. Kept his team in the game despite all that traffic on the bases. And the Astros ended up winning 4-3.
Took every pitch of those 87 pitches in 3 2/3 to work out of that damage he created.
Here's Mike Moustakas back with the Kansas City Royals. And he swings to the first pitch and pops one up. Alex Bregman all by himself on the left side of the infield. And he has to backpedal a few steps and make a sliding catch. Ended up on his backside, which I'm sure he will hear about once he gets back to the dugout. Or maybe even before he gets back to the dugout.
Yeah, it's always earlier than later with this ball club. They're going to let these guys know. At least he didn't go all Matt Chapman on it. Moustakas is a fly ball type guy. He's looking to lift and separate. And you kind of feel like you're on an island out there if you're Alex Bregman. There is nobody in the vicinity to even come out and try and help him. Luckily, he stays with it, makes the grab.
Yeah, yesterday we saw Matt Chapman of the A's lose a couple of pop-ups in the high sky in Oakland. I don't think it was the case there as much as it was the wind.
Yeah, there's wind. It's an interesting stadium. I mean, it's pretty exposed out here. A lot of the stands behind the playing field. So a little exposure to the elements. Not nearly as bad as what they're dealing with at the U.S. Open, though.
No. No, especially that first day. Charlie ahead of Salvi Perez, 0-2. This is a very aggressive Kansas City Royals team. They do not take many pitches and they do chase. That went off the foot of Salvador Perez, and that's what that 2-seamer can do running into a righty.
As you enjoy a cold one, look forward to the Miller Lite Hold True moment later in tonight's game. And you're talking about that 2-seam run, and that's something that Junis for the Royals is going to try and do, is get up underneath the hands of right-handed hitters. But it's going to be a little bit different for the Royals hitters against Charlie, just because the velocity and the movement. That's where you get a lot of those kind of swings that look like they're trying to fight it off. They end up fouling it off their feet.
Perez catches a lot of games for Kansas City. Does not chase there. And it's 1-2.
Good location on that slider. Gets a chance to pop in the MD Anderson strike zone. Sinkers in, sliders away. Just off the outside edge.
That is one of the better takes you'll see against Charlie Morton. A lot of guys would have been swinging at that pitch. Now they come back in and Charlie bounces it. It's 2-2. So mostly good, but a little bit erratic, especially when getting ahead of the count on Merrifield and now that last pitch to Perez.
Yeah, you don't want to peak too soon.
Charlie's strike percentage in June way down, especially that when you walk 6 guys in an outing in 3 2/3. Swing and a miss. This time he got the chase out of Perez and he strikes him out to end the first. A 1-2-3 inning ending with his first strikeout of the night.
Methodist, really good road team that you're looking at here in 2018. And we talked so much about what the world champs did last year on the road, averaging 6.19 runs per game. It was pretty good, the best since 2000. You're looking at all of the best teams since 2000. Look at those 2018 Astros have made their way up. I talked about their record, but the runs per game for them, here recently, we've really seen it, guys, especially on this road trip. And Jose Altuve was talking about this yesterday. He just loves the way that they're playing. He knew they were capable of it, though. I think that's what's been so frustrating for this offense, who didn't really like the inconsistency from that offense. So here they are. They're doing what they know they can do. And they said there's going to be games where you can't score a lot of runs. There's going to be games where you can't score off the starter. But to be able to give their starting pitchers a lead, let them have a breath as they take them out for the first time, has been really good for this club. The offense loves doing that, TK.
Yeah, it's been early runs, too, that you mentioned right before the game as Carlos Correa grounds one into his own dugout. They've given their starter at least 2 runs in each of the last 3 games by the second inning. 4 on Tuesday, 10 on Wednesday, and 2 yesterday in the first inning. 1-2-3 inning for Jacob Junis in the first, facing Carlos Correa to lead off the second, and Carlos fouls one away. It's 1-2.
There's some well-struck baseballs in that first inning. First 2 guys, Springer and Bregman, hitting line drives to center and third base, respectively.
Both had a hit probability of over 60%.
There you go. Can only live on borrowed time for so long before some of those turn into hits and extra base hits.
The fine line between a really good start to the game and Jacob Junis could have easily been in trouble if both those hits fell in, and now Correa sends one. This one popped in the air to right field. Soler is there for out number 1 in the second. Both Springer and Bregman end up with line drive hits. Now all of a sudden he's working out of a jam right away. Instead he has a 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many of those 1-2-3 innings against Astros hitters of late, especially on the road.
Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick, a couple of hits in yesterday's game, drove in a run. Takes one down and in for ball 1. Astros coming into this game have a major league best run differential of +142. The Royals have a major league worst -121. All sent into left field on the 1-0 pitch. Alex Gordon takes care of that, and there's 2 away. Every out so far for Junis has either been a line drive or a fly ball out. Red Sox are next closest to the Astros in the run differential game. Then the Yankees, and the National League best is the Chicago Cubs. Astros finally took over first place. The Red Sox defeating the Mariners last night. They've been winning all these games, and the Mariners kept winning along with them. Astros start tonight with a half-game lead.
Yeah, you've got to give the Mariners credit for battling without Robinson Cano in that lineup, because the Astros on this 9-game winning streak have got to be looking at the standings and wondering why they're not creating separation. But this might be the time, because the Mariners are running into a tough stretch in their schedule.
When the Astros started this winning streak, they defeated Seattle to take the lead from 2 to 1 game. And now here we are with an 8-game streak, and the Astros have just finally moved ahead of the Mariners in the division by just a half game. Evan Gattis bats with a 1-2 count. Evan's one of the reasons why the Astros have been able to sustain this 8-game winning streak and a perfect 7-0 road trip. He is just rolling on this trip at .345 with 14 runs batted in. Called third strike. Gattis tried to scoot out of the way, but it broke over on the inside corner. 6 in a row sent down by Junis to start this one. Home game in the Stro Zone, presented by Texas Mahindra Dealers, June 22nd, coming up a week from tonight. Stro Zone ticket holders get an exclusive Charlie Morton CFM t-shirt. Visit astros.com/strozone now to purchase your tickets. Last year he went from just Charlie Morton, everyday right-hander, to Charlie freaking Morton.
Yeah, when you close out a World Series throwing 99-mile-an-hour bowling ball sinkers, amongst some of the other attributes that his teammates gave him after that game, deserve that moniker.
Winner of Game 7 in the ALCS and Game 7 of the World Series. Now pitching against the Royals for the 3rd time in his career. 1-2-3 inning his first time. The 2-0 pitch is a fastball that Jorge Soler misses. It's 2-1. Charlie Morton was the first pitcher in MLB history to win 2 Game 7s in the same postseason. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. Challenging Soler with a fastball. Charlie makes start number 14 of the season. Coming in the top 10 in the ERA, number 8 at 2.82. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Drops Soler down to a knee as he swung through that pitch. 2 strikeouts for Morton.
Speaking of really good Charlie Morton, this is what I'm talking about, that sinking fastball, power down and into right-handed hitters. The backdoor breaking ball, he had everything working, and that is a huge situation. Dallas Keuchel, Justin Verlander, a couple of guys that wandered down to that bullpen, started throwing a little bit, but Charlie took the team on his shoulders and took care of that Dodgers offense. Eventually winning the World Series.
Good curveball to start Alex Gordon for a strike. There was a collective confidence in that bullpen that night that Charlie Morton would be the last guy coming out of that bullpen. Maybe not the first couple of hitters. Took him a little while to get in that rhythm. But once he got through that first inning, came out in the second inning, Brian McCann has said it. Even the guys like Keuchel and Verlander that you mentioned that were down in the bullpen said it, that they knew they were not going to be needed the way Charlie was going.
Yeah, we've seen Charlie enough to understand what they're talking about too. It's almost as if that field of vision for Charlie starts out kind of wide and then just gradually starts to shrink the more he gets in the zone with his dominant stuff. And when he starts overwhelming some of these guys, he is locked in.
He just threw a nasty curveball to Alex Gordon. That's been the big equalizer for Morton in his career, being able to strike out left-handers with that curveball.
Yeah, well, he's got 2 strikeouts in this inning, and our Mattress Firm Supermo shows you the release and the break on the curveball. Soler had a rough AB, swinging at a couple of tough fastballs, and then that last one to the same guy. That was pretty impressive. Struck him out twice on the same pitch.
It was Bugs Bunny. There's a pitch that misses to Dozier, 1-0. He was able to get Soler and then Alex Gordon, and now facing Hunter Dozier. He that went to Denton High School and Stephen F. Austin. Had 19 at-bats in 2016 with the Royals, now back up this year and has close to 100 at-bats. Want to do this again, Blummer?
Yeah, what's beautiful about this game is that we can do things over again and show you the greatness of Charlie Morton with that nasty snap hook. That one a little bit sharper.
And that's a guy who's, Alex Gordon, done some damage against the Astros and has hit well here the last 3 weeks, hitting 282. He's starting that swing thinking, oh no, what do I do now? And Charlie looking like he's the Charlie of May and April, more so than his last start or his start before against Boston. Boston was really on his curveball that night. Last start was just Charlie a little bit discombobulated.
Well, there might have been a little bit of inside information considering who was in the opposing dugout.
In Boston?
Yep.
Against Boston?
Yeah.
Interesting. 1-2 pitch, just missed, 2-2.
But a good miss, and that's what you want to see from Charlie. When he does miss, you don't want to see him miss wildly because the hitter can pick that up immediately out of the hand. But that one a little bit closer to the zone, down. You want to force that hitter to make a decision.
He has stayed in. And now Brian McCann goes outside, and there's the curveball, and forget about it. Strikes out this side. All on curveballs. Charlie Morton, CFM, getting it done for scoreless.
Show your spirit. Use hashtag #UltimateSWFanARK on Twitter to show us, and you could win a VIP experience. So tweet now and win big.
A lot of orange once again on the road here in Kauffman Stadium. Astros fans everywhere on this road trip. It's been a perfect road trip so far. 7-0, 4 straight wins in Arlington, 3 straight wins in Oakland. Tonight, kicking off a weekend series in Kansas City, Marwin Gonzalez will lead things off. Plummer really did a nice breakdown of Marwin Gonzalez's swing before this game, and Marwin has been one of the hottest Astros in the last week and a half.
Right now, he's got that opposite field gap staring him right in the face. If he gets a fastball out over the zone, might do something he did in Oakland to just drive it in that opposite field gap. It is wide.
You don't see it that large usually.
No.
Alex Gordon really playing him closer to the line than most. As Marwin takes a strike, it's 2-1.
Well, that's one thing we've seen with the Astros on defense is they'll play the infield to pull. They'll play the outfield the other way. Because usually when you miss a fly ball or miss trying to hit a home run, you usually send it straight up or to the opposite field because you get under it.
Nobody has a better batting average in the month of June than Marwin Gonzalez, batting .444. He bunts it foul. Every once in a while you'll see Marwin try and drop a bunt down. That one didn't work out.
Yeah, he's a guy, unlike Joey Gallo, say, that can actually do it and has done it in the past. So not a bad idea. And with a 1-strike count, when you're playing third base against some of these teams and the guy might have the opportunity to bunt, you're going to play in until that 1 strike, and then usually in the delivery you'll creep back a little bit because you don't anticipate too many guys bunting after 1 strike.
Into left center field. That's the gap Plummer was talking about, and Alex Gordon, a Gold Glover, runs it down. He made a nice running catch, but Marwin making a bid in that left center gap.
He had to, and that was a great piece of hitting by Marwin Gonzalez. You just have to tip your cap to Alex Gordon making a great play on it. There's a slider up out over the zone, and Marwin let it travel, much like we talked about in that pregame, and he tried to get over the head of Alex Gordon. But another thing about Alex Gordon, he knows he's the only guy over there that can make that play.
Gordon 1 year won the Platinum Glove, which is the best fielder at any position, 5-time Gold Glover. As Brian McCann takes one outside for a ball, it's 1-0. Jacob Junis has sent down the first 7 he has faced. Much different outing so far than he had against the Astros last season. Junis making his 30th career start. Last year he faced the Astros on June 6th and lasted just 3 2/3 innings, allowing 8 hits and 7 runs. McCann pops one up on the infield. Moustakas and Escobar. It'll be Alcides Escobar who makes the play for out number 2. Seven fly ball or line drive outs and a strikeout for Junis so far. Here's Tony Kemp. Kemp coming in batting at .301. Tony takes a called strike. Slider for a strike. Kemp down to the count 0-2. A lot of hitters get down 0-2 and they are in trouble. Kemp seems to really like the challenge of battling when he gets behind in the count.
Well, what's great about Tony is he doesn't panic. He's not up there trying to do mega damage like most hitters are trying to do. We talked about 2-strike approaches. Tony just keeps his standard approach. If it's a strike, I'm going to swing. If it's not, I'm going to take it. There's not a lot of movement in the swing of Tony Kemp, so he sees the ball a little bit longer. There's really no panic when he gets to that 2-strike count.
This one back to the mound. Junis with a perfect 3 innings to start this one as he gets Tony Kemp to finish the 3rd.
Today's Chevy Stropole. Remember to follow at ATT Sportsnet SW on Twitter. Which Astros player is most in need of a cool nickname? Jose Altuve, George Springer, or Justin Verlander? I'm going to tell you who wins later in the broadcast. Of course, tweet us. Tweet us what you think. Tweet us ideas.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, bring it.
That's a pretty funny one. Alcides Escobar leads off the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Charlie Morton has been very good through 2. Retiring all 6 he has faced, the last 4 via strikeout. Escobar fouls one away. 0-2. Alcides Escobar playing in his 402nd consecutive game for the Royals. As the longest streak, he played every game in 2016 and 2017, plus their first 68 games this year. Ground ball towards Correa. One shortstop, retires the other, and there's one away in the third. Charlie gets his first ground ball tonight. During that second inning, when he struck out the side, not only did he look impressive throwing that curveball to Soler, Gordon, and Dozier, but he put Brian McCann one notch further up in the career putouts category for catchers. McCann now moving up to number 9 on the all-time list as he passes Tony Pena. Yesterday, McCann became the 30th in terms of games played behind the dish and number 9 in putouts. That goes to show you how many strikeout pitchers he has seen in his career. Into center field, and we have our first base runner of the night. Ends up drifting over towards right, where Josh Reddick picks it up. Paulo Orlando, just recalled back on June 7th. Singles into right, his second hit since the recall.
Stayed on the curveball nicely, just kind of poked it out there the other way. An extremely hard contact, but just enough to get the bat flip.
Orlando on first with one away, and that'll bring up Abraham Almonte. Astros have seen Almonte before in a different uniform. He was with Seattle in 13 and 14, San Diego for part of the year in 14, and then Cleveland the last 3 years. Darwin tries to flag it down, the foul ball. It's 1-1. While the Astros have been on a tear offensively during this 8-game winning streak, the Royals have scored just 11 runs in their last 8 games. They have really been struggling offensively. Just got swept by the Cincinnati Reds after losing 3 out of 4 in Oakland, where the Astros just finished off a sweep. Pitch misses to Almonte. It's 2-1.
This isn't an easy ballpark to go out and score runs as it is. Spacious. Gotta give it a pretty good whack to get it out of here.
Called strike on the inside corner. Almonte wasn't sure. That caught the plate. It's 2-2.
Yeah, he might have thought this pitch was down, but that is just a filthy sinker at 94 miles an hour.
Curveball misses. The count goes full. Charlie working out of the stretch for the first time. Runner on the move, and Almonte stays alive. Although Orlando has not attempted a steal this season. Just running with a 3-2 count, trying to stay out of a double play. Two pitch misses. Almonte draws the walk. Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
New championship gold gear and merchandise is now available at the Astros team store, including McCullers, Peacock, and Morton jerseys. Visit astros.com/team store for hours and information. Actually, we're getting a lot of Twitter questions about the Kansas City Royals wearing gold numbers and a gold logo on their helmet. Since I don't work for the Kansas City Royals, I can't answer that question, and I did not get the Major League memo regarding it. So if you want to tweet at the Royals, they would do a better job of giving you an answer, because I've got nothing.
Since they won the World Series, they've been wearing these on Fridays when they play here at Kauffman Stadium. It's close.
Thank you for doing that.
Close enough to their real colors, yeah. So they can kind of get away with it.
It's just the numbers. It's not the entire uniform. There's some piping in there, but
not the old gold as a World Series champion would have.
Yes.
Are Astros fans a little?
Yeah, they're a little concerned. They feel it's only reserved for the current World Series champions. But they can go get their gear at the team store to rival it.
That sounds like a promo.
There you go.
1-1 the count. Nicely done.
Starting to learn how to work this business a little bit.
It'd be nice to see Charlie get a ground ball here. First and second, 1 out. Here he goes out of the stretch. He slows things down a little bit. A lot of pitchers do.
Yep.
Charlie just trying to get in his comfort zone since allowing that single to Paulo Orlando. It's 1-2.
Well, and it might also go back. Now he's given up a hit on a very good breaking ball. He eventually walks Almonte, but we also know in talking to AJ that, you know, Charlie Morton's delivery, it means everything to him. If the rhythm is off just a little bit, that's when he starts to lose some of that command. So I think he might be making a little more of a concerted effort to get the sign from Brian McCann, come set, and really focus on that delivery so he can make a good pitch to get out of this mess.
Facing their hottest hitter, Whit Merrifield, and he takes a called strike on the inside corner. Merrifield disagrees on his way back to the dugout with Jeremy Rehak. That is strikeout number 5 for Charlie Morton.
That part of the zone and getting those calls would really benefit Charlie Morton. That is a pitcher's pitch.
Now Morton can see his way through the inning facing Mike Moustakas. Moustakas popped up his first time up on 1 pitch.
Two-seamer. That's how he creates that run to the arm side on the inside corner to a right-handed hitter.
Just a nasty, nasty pitch down and in. Freezing a right-hand hitter, and a pretty good one in Merrifield. Now a wave and a miss by Moustakas on the curveball. It's a guy that leads the team in home runs, RBIs, and runs scored, and Charlie makes him look a little silly on that swing. Fastball down and in. It's 2-1.
Also says in the notes that the Kansas City Royals are celebrating their 50th year. Might have a little bit to do with some of the gold piping and things like that.
50 years of Royals baseball, starting up in 1969.
It's kind of interesting. We played the A's and now the Kansas City Royals. Kind of linked.
There's a ball down the right field line and a fair ball headed towards the corner. That'll score Orlando. Almonte being waved around, and he will score. The Royals take a 2-0 lead on a double by Mike Moustakas.
That was a hanging breaking ball from Charlie Morton. As the Moose calls go out. Wanted to backdoor that one, and that one just hovered right out over the middle part of the plate. And Charlie knew it. Brian McCann knew it. Big 2-out, 2 RBI hit from Mike Moustakas.
See him get under that one a little more. Great look from our center field camera. Here's Salvador Perez. Moustakas has driven in his 43rd and 44th run of the year. Perez struck out his first time up. Ground ball stopped by Correa. Long throw on the money. Carlos Correa, another fine defensive play to keep the damage at 2. Royals lead it 2-0 heading to the 4th.
Ball hit hard by Salvador Perez, but Carlos Correa plays a phenomenal shortstop. We've seen it all year long, and he gets Charlie Morton out of a jam. Fans can dress as their favorite superhero, and 10,000 fans will get a Superhero Lithos comic poster. Upgrade your Marvel experience with a Superhero Day ticket package. Visit Astros.com/superhero for more info.
So the Astros haven't been accustomed to playing with a deficit recently, as George Springer takes a called strike from Jacob Junis. They led in that Oakland A's series, with the exception of an early 1-0 lead in the opening game the rest of the way. Swept Texas and had the lead the majority of the time in that series. Tonight down 2-0 to the Kansas City Royals, a team that has lost 9 of their last 10. And Jacob Junis has been very good the first time through the lineup as George checks his swing and fouls one away. It's 1-2.
They're having a tough time picking up 90 miles an hour of kind of arm side run. Every once in a while sink from Junis. One time through the order. Hopefully they took some mental notes, make the adjustment here the second time through the order against Jacob.
That ball into center field. Almonte going back, and he has the play in the sunshine here. Only part of the field still in the sun. And Springer has been retired for the second time, both times to center field. Junis is 25 years old. He was a 29th round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals. Kept making his way through the minor leagues and kept excelling at each level. Last year made his big league debut. Ended up making 16 starts for the Royals and appeared in 20 games overall. Now facing Alex Bregman. Bregman takes a strike. Alex hit the ball hard his first time up, lining out to third. Alex gets into one down the left field line. This ball is hooking and gone. Home run, Alex Bregman. Give him 9 on the year, and that cuts the Astros deficit in half. It's 2-1.
What you got to do is just bring the hands in and get that sinker out of there and get it out of there in a hurry. The balance is so good on Alex Bregman's swing. That was nicely done.
Here's Jose Altuve. First hit, first run, first base runner for the Astros. So Junis has only worked out of the windup tonight as he faces Altuve with a 1-0 count. There's a call strike. It's 1-1. One and two the count. Now Altuve flied out to center field his first time up. Decent amount of applause as Bregman was running around the bases. There are some Houston Astros fans here for this series. Inside, it's 2-2.
Expect Jose to hit this next slider pretty good the other way. They're giving him that hole on the right side. Came with the fastball.
Right off the facade of our Astros radio booth. Visiting booth a couple of booths down to our right. Last guy to walk. 6 batters and hit 4 in the start in that booth. Steve Sparks before Charlie Morton did so.
That's one way to get your name in the record books.
3-2 the count. There they are, Sparky and Robert Ford.
Welcome back, Robert.
Started his career here with the Royals at the big league level.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal here. That was that slider I wanted to see him hit. Sorry.
Was he trying to go the other way, or did he try and pull?
No,
back?
I think he was trying to jerk that one out of here.
It looked like he took a pretty big swing.
Yeah, but it's interesting with that infield being shifted. They are actually playing him the other way to the outfield. So if he did get that on a line drive in that left center field area, that would have been nice.
This one is popped foul towards the stands and into the stands. Altuve's seen a lot of pitches now.
Yes.
This is a good thing.
It's always, I always feel like the more pitches a hitter sees in at least one AB, it really benefits the hitter. The advantage goes to him. Forces that pitcher to make a pretty good pitch to try and get him out. But we've seen a couple of the sliders kind of flutter up out over the plate. That is a yard sale of pitches all over the place.
And we see Junis going to that pant leg to try and dry his hand. That could be an issue too on a warm, muggy night. Altuve misses this one just barely, and he's a little frustrated as he sends one high in the air to center field. Almonte makes the play for out number 2.
Mind you, the home run we saw from Alex Bregman, what he does so good is trust those hands on the inside corner. It's tough not to open up that front hip and get the barrel out too quick. You got to let it travel a little bit, especially when it's at 90 miles an hour. But the way Alex Bregman is so still at home plate and so balanced, that's what allows him to get to that pitch and drive it. And you're facing a guy who has a good sinker like we are seeing from Jacob Junis. You almost got to think about trying to attack the bottom half of the baseball. Because if you start going after the top half, you're going to start swinging over the top, hitting a lot of ground balls.
And they seem like they have for the most part. We've only seen 1 ground ball here through 4 innings.
Great point.
A little comebacker by Tony Kemp, who was down in the count 1-2. Carlos Correa bats with 2 outs and nobody on. Correa takes one inside. It's 2-0. Carlos coming off a really good series against the A's. His first series back after missing that 4-game set against the Rangers. He went 5 for 12 with 4 walks. Hit a home run in his first pitch he saw coming back. It wasn't a DL stint. He was just off for 5 days with a little soreness in his right side. Here he's got a count of 3-0, so he can kind of try and keyhole one here in a hitter's count. Instead, he takes the pitch for a strike. It's 3-1.
And he could be taking it just to see another pitch because he assumes he's going to see the same pitch in a 3-1 count.
He does, and he gets into one deep to left field. Carlos Correa. Home run number 12 ties the game at 2. Takes the 3-0 pitch down the middle and crushes the 3-1 pitch.
Yeah, but if you were checking out where Salvador Perez was setting up down and away, that pitch missed by a good 1.5 feet, and Carlos Correa absolutely obliterates it. Salvador Perez down and away, not so much. Right into the power path of Carlos Correa, and he knew it. My goodness. That's a pretty good feeling, folks. Ooh, 112.8 miles an hour off the bat. Come on. 112.8.
Coming in hot.
That is mashed. Estimated 455 feet.
Josh Reddick sends one to right field. Soler going back towards the corner. He'll have a play and makes it on the warning track right in front of the Missouri Lottery sign. But the Astros tie it up on a couple of solo home runs.
Astros coming in trying to pick up Charlie after a tough inning, doing some yard work out here in Kansas City.
Astros tie the game up in the top half of the fourth inning. Alex Bregman a solo home run followed by Carlos Correa. Monster shot 455 feet later. Ball leaving his bat at almost 113 miles an hour. Jorge Soler facing Charlie Morton, who now works with a tie game once again and swings and misses at the first pitch. We have not seen many home runs leave with that kind of exit velocity this year.
No, that ball was crushed.
Soler takes a breaking ball for his strike on the outside corner. It's 0-2.
Man, that's tough to defend right there.
Might have been his little cutter he throws in there every once in a while.
Yeah, that had a little bit of shorter break to it, didn't it?
Now a foul ball off the foot. That might have caught Soler either on his instep of his left foot or even his back foot. That really got in on him. It's still 0-2. Soler struck out swinging his first time up on a curveball. Charlie struck out the side in the second inning. Soler, Alex Gordon, Hunter Dozier all on curveballs.
Oh, nice pick.
Smooth back there, Brian McCann. Next up for Brian on the career putouts list for catchers. He passed Tony Pena tonight. Bob Boone, father of Brett and Aaron Boone. Next up on McCann's list. That'll be another week or two as Soler just barely gets a piece of it to stay alive.
Soler's not really discretionary as far as what he's going to swing at. If it's coming near the plate, he's going to try and get it.
Fastball for a called strike. McCann wanted it up. Morton put it right up there at the top part of the zone. He picks up strikeout number 6.
We've got some power rankings for you. They're brought to you by Steel. K per 9 American League starters. Garrett Cole on top with almost 12.5, followed by Chris Sale, Tyler Bauer. Charlie Morton right behind him with 11.27 strikeouts per 9. 3 Astros on this list. And those are some formidable pitchers this season in the American League.
Here's Alex Gordon taking a strike. Well, despite the fact that Charlie has struggled this month to a 7 ERA and lasted a total of 9 innings in those 2 starts, he still finds himself with good numbers when you compare him to guys around the league. Strikeouts per 9. Just saw where he is. The ERA is in the top 10 coming in. He's ahead of Alex Gordon, 0-2. Gordon struck out on a curveball his first time up. Even though these Royals have some at-bats against Charlie Morton, he's not faced Kansas City since 2015, back when he was just throwing around 92, 93. He was not this guy. And Alex Gordon says, I don't remember seeing him throw 97-mile-an-hour fastballs and dotting him up. 7 strikeouts for Charlie Morton.
The Best in Texas Power Pitcher is presented by your local Ford dealer. And these are strikeouts this season on the fastball and the breaking ball. You can almost draw a line through there. You're going to see a lot of those elevated fastballs like we saw the one to Soler to get the strikeout, but a lot of those curve balls down and into left-handed hitters, down and away to right-handed hitters. But you get an idea of what he's trying to do. And we've also seen some of those fastballs on that down and away corner to right-handed hitters also. He does a good job of throwing that fastball in that spot and then throwing the power curveball in the same spot. And with the ball jumping out of his hand and the arm action being the same, that's where the deception comes in.
Starts off Hunter Dozier with a strike. He struck out this part of the order in the second inning. Soler, Gordon, and Dozier trying to do it again. He's ahead 0-2. The other thing with Charlie, as much as he was confident in that 4-seam fastball last year, and he threw the 2-seamer a lot more than the 4-seamer, I think he's even more confident in that 4-seam ride this year. He's got a lot of swings and misses on that pitch. This one is chopped way off the plate. Correa has to hurry, and he throws a strike on a fastball. Who says Charlie Morton's the only one throwing high 90s out there on the field for the Astros? A 1-2-3 inning for Charlie Morton. And quality, all at the lowest prices on every item every day. By Champion Energy Services, the exclusive electricity provider of the Houston Astros. And by Ram Trucks, built to serve. They are Richard, Negro League Museum Hall of Fame 2018 inductee, the former Astro Big right-hander. A.J. Hinch and Julian Morales did a little tour of the Negro League Museum today, and Julia interviewed A.J. while over there. Evan Gaddis leads off against Jacob Junis, who was ready to go in this inning. About 30 seconds ago, the umpires had to hold the game up. This guy works quickly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's a grab-and-go guy. He's not wasting any time. As soon as he gets that ball back from Perez, he's pretty much on that rubber, ready to go.
Gaddis struck out looking his first time up and fouls off the two-seamer. It's 1-2. Jay Hinch.
Getty is a huge Toronto Blue Jays fan, but baseball
some of the
fan and collector.
balls donated by Getty Lee from Rush.
Yeah, the lead singer, bassist for Rush. Huge baseball fan up there in Toronto. Donated a great deal of those baseballs, if not every single one of them in there. But a huge fan of the game and donating to a great place in the Negro League Museum.
How was it today, Julia?
We had a great time, and I've been. It's been a couple years. AJ's been. You know, he knows a lot of the guys that used to hang around the batting cages when he played for the Orioles. Buck O'Neill used to hang out and had a lot of conversations with him. But it was even good for him to go back and some of the newer parts of the museum, new exhibits. I mean, they're constantly making that place better and better, and they're just having more visitors every year. Lots of Astros fans, guys. We ran into a bunch of them while we were there. So very good to see. Very interesting, fascinating stuff. A rich part, a rich history, really, for African-American baseball. And then, of course, the integration into Major League Baseball.
Good stuff. We can check that out. Interview coming up as we saw Julian A.J. touring the Negro League Museum. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. He was robbed on a great play by Alex Gordon his first time up. Takes one outside for a ball, 1-0. Mentioned Marwin has the highest batting average of any major leaguer in the month of June. That OPS isn't too shabby either, 1352. Marwin's been a triples machine this month. He has 3 triples this month, which matches the most he's ever had in one season. It's only June 15th. 2-0 pitch, big swing, no contact. It's 2-1.
I like it. Get that sinker up, elevated, try and drive it.
Jacob Junis has only pitched out of the stretch tonight. The only 2 runners to reach base didn't stay very long. They hit solo home runs, Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa. Up in the zone, it's 3-1.
Expect another big swing. Maybe he gets a better fastball to hit. Again, that opposite field gap is wide open for Marwin.
Down and in, ball 4. There is the first walk issued by Junis. And Marwin a 1-out base runner.
No Player Does More is brought to you by HEB. Brian McCann coming up 2017 right here in Kansas City. 7 for 12, 2 McCann balls, 5 RBIs, and he also scored 5 runs going deep to center field over the head of ex-center fielder Lorenzo Cain. I would say show your payload if there was any there.
Brian tries to bid for one, but he pops this one up towards right. So Lair ambles over near the foul line, makes the play for out number 2. Well, the Astros continue to put a lot of pitches from Junis up in the air. That is all fly ball outs, with the exception of 2 strikeouts to Evan Gaddis, both looking. And Tony Kemp, the only one to put one on the ground as he grounded back to the pitcher his first time up.
Talked about how quick Junis can be. All of a sudden you get a guy on first base that he thinks might take off on him, and things slow down quite a bit. It's that third time through the order against Junis where he starts to give up the batting average. It jumps from 208 to 333.
On the ground, that'll be a base hit for Tony Kemp. Marwin will stay at second base as Soler gets it back in. Astros with runners on first and second with 2 outs. Kemp another base hit. He had 2 of them in yesterday's game against the A's and 2 of them in the first game of that series against Oakland. Keep that average up above 300. That'll bring up George Springer. Springer has gone to center field twice. Hit the ball hard his first time. All that footage you saw earlier of Julian AJ at the Negro League Museum, you can check that out on our next Astros Bases Loaded, not the current one running, but the one that they are building for the next show. Be a week from tonight. One 0 pitch is a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. It's 1-1. See George's reaction to that. He wishes he took a hack at that slider. Junis has done a good job for the most part. A couple of solo home runs, but now 2 on and 2 outs. George gets jammed a little bit and fouls it away. It's 1-2.
He is getting destroyed on the inside. Running fastball in on the hands.
Swing and a miss at the fastball on the outside part of the plate. Springer goes down. Third strikeout for Junis, 2 in that inning. The Astros strand 2. It's tied at 2.
Charlie Morton will get back to work, who was trying to have a bounce back performance here today, and he's doing that so far, working around just a few base runners there earlier. For him, it was all about being aggressive on the 0-0 pitch, getting ahead of hitters. I know he talked to Blemmer a little bit about pitch delivery. Some things that he didn't feel like he was repeating in those last couple of starts was going to be important for him. So that's what he was working on in between starts, guys. But he also told me, and if in case you missed it, we talked about this a couple of days ago, it's not the worst thing of all time to have a bad outing every once in a while, just to kind of reevaluate, look at things, make some adjustments, get back out there and reset and get back to pitching the way that he was pitching earlier this year, TK.
Yeah, it worked for Lance McCullers. Lance had a bad outing in Minnesota and then locked it in for the next 6 or 7 starts.
Well, the thing I like about it is that they're correctable things. It's nothing really devastating. They know what's going on. They know how to fix it. And it seems like they've gone out and done that.
Escobar flies out to center for the first out of the 5th.
And a couple of the strikeouts on our matches from Supermo showing you the breaking ball away. That one to Salvador Perez. That's that traditional curve ball. Catching Soler out in front. This one might be a little bit more of a slider for me just because of the velocity and the sharpness in the break going under the swing of Alex Gordon. But that little more traditional north to south break tells you it's a breaking ball. That north to south, east to west kind of slanted move will tell you it's a slider.
Off the glove of Bregman. Paulo Orlando, who's been struggling lately, looks like he has another base hit. It is a hit. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Had been 1 for his last 16 after being recalled from AAA Omaha.
He's not lighting it up as far as exit velocity is concerned, just very good with the placement. First AB off the end of the bat going the other way. This one just that little bit of top spin initially out in front of home plate, and then you can see it kind of shot on that second hop that Alex Bregman tried to make. It'll do that sometimes when it goes from dirt to dirt. Grass doesn't really slow it down or take that spin off it. Almost picks up more spin when it hits out in front of home plate sometimes.
Only the 3rd hit allowed by Charlie Morton as he faces Abraham Almonte. Almonte drew a walk his first time up. Only walk issued by Charlie tonight. Scored a run on the 2-out, 2 RBI double by Mike Moustakas. Fastball away. It's 2-0. Charlie threw 3 pitches to Escobar that were all around 87, 88, 89. The little cutter.
Feels like a little bit more of a cutter too because he had some late break to him.
Some reason he's having trouble finding the zone against the number 9 hitter Almonte. Almonte coming in batting just 194.
Yeah, for guys that create movement like Charlie Morton, can't just go out there and say, hey, just throw a strike, because he's trying to command the movement of that pitch sometimes. And if he lets up a little bit just to throw a strike, it almost creates more movement sometimes.
Here's a strike. Both teams with 2 runs on 3 hits. Astros a couple of solo home runs. Royals getting a double for 2 runs out of Mike Moustakas. This is the fastball there. Now the count's full.
Sometimes you get a little bit of help when the guy chases. You can't really blame Almonte in a 3-1 count chasing the fastball.
Only one team chases more than the Royals, and that's their partners in the AL Central. The Tigers, a very young, aggressive team. Royals 29th in chase percentage out of 30 major league teams. Down and in. He has walked Almonte for the 2nd straight time. This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of baseball with MLB.tv. Watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through Father's Day. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details on that Father's Day gift. 2 on, 1 out. Same situation Charlie had in the 3rd. A 1-out single by Orlando, followed by a walk to Almonte. Last time he was able to strike out Whit Merrifield. This time he starts him off with a pitch just off. It's 1-0.
A good firm ground ball to somebody up the middle.
Uncomfortable swing there.
But that's that pitch you're talking about at 88 miles an hour, creating that sharp late break. That's why it's uncomfortable, because he was anticipating fastball out of the hand, and then just a quick little cut across the plate away from the swing.
The reason I'm a little surprised that Escobar's seeing 3 of the same, he doesn't throw it that much to right-hand hitters.
No.
He throws it sometimes to lefties to get in on their hands, but it's been effective tonight against righties. Now it's down and away. It's 2-1. Maybe Brian also feeling that he has a little more control with that cutter maybe than the 2-seam right now.
Yeah, maybe a little more comfort. It's another thing about Brian McCann. He's watching those mechanics as much as anything, and he's also watching. A lot of these catchers can tell what's going on with the pitcher by the reaction of the baseball. Pitches start to flatten out. They know they're having some issues, but that cutter at 88 miles an hour has been pretty nasty this evening. There it is again.
Throwing a lot, but missing on that last one. It's 3-1. Ground ball off the front of the Astros dugout, and now the count's full. Well, Ned Yost has shown he sent Orlando with Almonte batting with a 3-2 count a couple of times. Merrifield's been as hot as anybody in his lineup. You would imagine they'll send the runners here.
That is very good thinking, and I agree with you wholeheartedly.
It could be an easy peg for McCann to third if they get the strikeout.
And that's the thing. They want to probably try and create movement, too, because Charlie, when he's going good, does get the ground balls.
Just off the edge. The runners were not going, and Merrifield draws a walk, and now the bases are loaded for Mike Moustakas, and a visit from pitching coach Brent Strom. Didn't miss that last pitch by much. It was just off the outside corner, and a good take by Merrifield.
Looks like that down and away corner. We've seen him pepper a couple times tonight. Didn't get the call on that one from Jeremy Rehat.
Brian's having a little discussion with the young umpire on the way back. That was one that very well could have been called a strike.
And partly the only thing that Brian McCann is saying is going, hey, Jeremy, you called a couple pitches in that same spot. Don't lock up on me because of the situation. Stay true to your zone, and you showed us early on you're giving him that pitch.
Moustakas takes one down and in, ball one. Moustakas popped up and hit a hanging curveball for a 2 RBI double his last time up. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Charlie has faced Moustakas 6 times. Moose has 2 hits, a 3-run home run and a 2-run double.
Those last 2 pitches have been firm to quite firm at 97. They continue to try and come inside with that fastball. Tried the little cutter.
Moustakas would be a double play candidate if he put the ball on the ground.
I was thinking the same thing. Such a luxury to have that defense playing behind you. They are good and they want to make the play.
Now it's 3-1. Charlie has walked back-to-back hitters, and now he's 3-1 on Moustakas.
And all of a sudden, the team that chases has been extremely patient.
All 4, that forces in a run. Morton walking 3 in a row, and the Royals retake the lead at 3-2. A little different wildness tonight than the game in Arlington. He has just missed some edges tonight. Arlington, he was all over the map. Still a pitch away from getting out of this situation as he faces Salvador Perez. Stockis with that RBI with the bases loaded walk has driven in all 3. Ground ball towards third. Bregman has it to Altuve for 1. Jose can take his time, and Morton gets out of a bases loaded 1-out situation on a double play ground ball. The Royals take the lead 3-2 heading to the 6th.
Who am I? Monster trade. The old switcheroo and drop the mic. You know who that is. Those clues give you the answer. Make sure you tweet it at ATT Sportsnet SW if you've got that answer. Be sure to stay tuned later in the broadcast to see if you got it right.
Head to the 6th. Part of the lineup that tied the game up the first time for the Astros due up. Alex Bregman hit a solo home run. Jose Altuve. And then Carlos Correa also hit a solo home run. Bregman takes the first pitch from Jacob Junis for a strike. It's 0-1. Alex now reaching in 26 consecutive games, hitting his 9th home run of the year. Junis has pitched well. He's allowed just 3 hits so far through 5 innings, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Outside to Bregman, it's 2-1. Bregman starting a big double play to get out of the trouble in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Royals leading 3-2. Salvador Perez hit one sharply, but at the Astros third baseman. Mentioned the Royals' struggles with their run differential, last in the major leagues. It's been primarily the pitching. Team ERA is worst in baseball coming in. They haven't played very well here at home either. They're just 10-23 at Kauffman Stadium. Bregman pops one up. Shallow left. Alex Gordon a long way to come in, but he will get there and make the play for out number 1.
Here's the Rocket Mortgage breakdown. Altuve coming to the plate compared with Whit Merrifield, the Royals' second baseman. 53 doubles and 48 steals for Whit. Jose Altuve, 56 doubles and 42 steals since 2017. Pretty solid comparison and a good idea to hit doubles here at Kauffman Stadium. Tough ballpark, like I said, to drive it out, but if you can shoot those gaps, you can put yourself in scoring position pretty quick.
Altuve was frustrated his last AB when he flied out to fairly deep center field. And this time trying to beat the shift. Merrifield knocks it down, and that's all he can do. Plummer, you talked about it last at bat. You don't see the shift that often against Altuve, and that's why.
Yeah, he is one guy that I believe that can manipulate the bat to find a hit, especially when you put that many guys on the left side of the field. And it doesn't have to be perfect. He just does enough to create a ground ball to force Whit Merrifield to move to his left, and he could easily beat out a ground ball if any of those guys on the left side of your infield have to move to their left. Hosey did a good job of staying inside, and as soon as he saw Merrifield go after it, he put his head down, sprint. So location of that hit and speed.
Carlos Correa takes a breaking ball for his strike. Correa hit one of the loudest home runs of the season for the Astros his last time up. 112.8 miles an hour off the bat. I didn't even watch where it ended up. Did that hit the waterfalls or just shy of the waterfall?
No, I think underneath that 50th anniversary sign out there in left field, it went into the building.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's suites or not, but it went into the building. Yes.
They have their Hall of Fame back there, and there are also suites back there.
What do you say we go back and check it out?
I want to watch again.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I was stunned on the impact.
Got quiet there just so you could hear the impact. That was a great connection, 112.8.
Oh,
it ricocheted off the back wall. Tried going through the window.
That was well struck by Correa. Now a 1-1 count. He got into a hitter's count last time and did damage. This time off his foot. And that does not, maybe his leg, that does not feel very good. It's 1-2.
It's a good stat cast mention there as Carlos Correa tries to hobble that one out. 20 to 40 degree launch angle and 100+ mph off the bat. 62% of those balls hit in that range end up being home runs.
He's going to get looked at here by the head athletic trainer Jeremiah Randall. That hit his knee or near his knee?
No, I think it hit right on top of the foot.
Oh boy.
Right on that instep, almost right on top of the foot. That's not a good spot. He doesn't have any protection there other than the shoe and some laces. But that one will shock you pretty good. Not too much meat down there.
Well, if nothing else, Correa bought a little time with Jeremiah out there. That's still got to be stinging pretty good.
Yes. It's your stride foot too. That's always the worst part, is that you may feel okay enough to get back in the box and then you stride out there and put some weight on it. Sends a little shocking sensation.
Now down in the count 1-2. Correa back in there.
Got to give a better flop considering it's World Cup time, right?
That was a good swing. He was ready after fouling one off his foot. Just missed that 1-2 pitch.
Well, that's always the worst fear. You foul one off your front foot, and especially off a guy like Junis who's throwing that good two-seam fastball, running it in on the hands. You're like, I don't want to do that again. So you're thinking about clearing out space on the inside.
Another foul ball back. That fourth pitch is the one he wanted back.
There's a couple right down the middle, huh?
Center square for the win. Check about Altuve. Jose leads the team in steals with 10. Towards the hole, diving stop Escobar. Everybody safe on the infield hit by Carlos Correa. Carlos initially thought he was going to have to leg out an infield hit, but it bounced in and out of the glove of Escobar for the Astros' second hit of the inning.
It's another ground ball. That second hop kind of jumped on Escobar because as he was diving, and the impact kind of jarred it in his glove, and then landing on the ground knocked it out.
Is that the same thing you were talking about, the dirt to dirt?
Yeah, for whatever reason, it depends. I know that Greg Maddux in Atlanta, they would soak the front part of the plate because he threw so many sinkers and got ground balls that would kind of deaden the ball sometimes. But if it caught something firm out in front of home plate and then the second bounce was going to be on the dirt, it usually shot pretty good because there'd be a ton of topspin on it.
Here's Josh Reddick. He flied out deep to right field his last time up. Also has flied out to left. Takes one down and in, and now he's got a hitter's count at 2-0. Astros down 3-2, but they have Altuve on second and Correa on first. Reddick 2 for 5 in his career against Junis, and there's a base hit into left field. Altuve will be held. Alex Gordon comes up with it quickly, but the bases will be loaded for one Evan Gattis.
What a great piece of hitting by Josh. With that shift on, a pitch away, that two-seam runs away from left-handed hitters. He just stays on it, lets it travel nicely, and shoots it through that open space. And you can see Altuve kind of hesitating, because on the line, if Moustakas comes up with a phenomenal play, he didn't want to be hung out to dry.
Cal Eldred, the pitching coach for the Royals, out to meet with his young right-hander. And now all of a sudden you've got Evan Gattis batting. Junis only has 3 strikeouts. 2 of them have come against Gattis on a breaking ball as the side-arming left-hander Tim Hill warms up. Both times Evan's taken an inside breaking ball that has broken on the plate. So now you see if Evan can make the adjustment.
Yeah, you really hope he can, because it has been kind of a jumpy. It's a lot of movement from Evan Gattis in these last 2 ABs. Maybe not picking the ball up very well out of Jacob Junis's hands, but you'd like to see Jeremy Rehak really break up this pile of rocks on the mound. This is an extended visit.
Since May 12th, Plummer.
Oh, yeah. Crush zone up there, right around the beard. And that highlighted area on those slugging percentages are home runs. So that's a lot of plate coverage.
Oh, you were going to draw the beard.
Not that good.
There you go.
There you go. Right in that beard area, guy. Get up there and crush that thing.
We'll see if it works out. Nobody in baseball since May 12th has more RBIs than Evan Gattis with 34. And he's second with those 12 home runs in that stretch. Junis has had the better of him so far. And he starts him off with a pitch just off the plate. It's 1-0. That's a pitch Junis wanted, and Gattis had it called for a ball.
Just needs to settle down a little bit, see the ball, hit the ball. Don't try and anticipate or guess what he's coming at you with. Just see it out of the hand and react.
Up and in, 2-0. Couple of close misses. That one looked like it had part of the plate. Junis wanted both pitches. One out, bases loaded, Astros down 1. And yes, pitch number 2, Astros fans, could have been called a strike. That one is a strike. That's the one that caught him looking the first 2 times. Slider comes in at 82. Gattis has seen it now for 3 at bats. See if he can make the adjustment. Pops one foul and out of play. Got another one. And now the count evens at 2 apiece.
Tried to stay on that one. He was a little more quiet.
One hung up a little bit more for him. That ball's hit hard deep to left center field. All the way back, Almonte looking up. Grand slam! Evan Gattis! And the Astros take a 6-3 lead.
That was in the beard zone.
Fear the beard.
The caveman delivereth.
That'll be the last batter Jacob Junis faces, as Evan Gattis, who struck out twice against Junis on breaking balls, hits a grand slam, second of his career, and the Astros lead 6-3. Back with more after Tony Kemp gives him a hug for home runs.
Four-seam delivery from Junis, elevated, and that is the beard zone. You get up in that area, Evan Gattis will stand up on you and hammer it, and he got a hold of this one. 4-run homer, much to the delight of the Astros. That ball was pummeled.
So now my question is, as we see the new pitcher for the Kansas City Royals coming into this game, the side-arming left-hander Tim Hill, 28-year-old, why would you go there against Gattis?
My goodness, yeah, that's not a good scouting report. Years of data, as many rings as there are in trees that Evan hammers down in the offseason. There's been that many home runs punished at that part of the zone.
Marwin takes one inside on the corner for a strike. A little different delivery from the left-hander he's facing. Marwin hitting right-handed for the first time here. Hill made his major league debut back on March 29th of this year.
So we've got some StatCast numbers on Evan Gattis in that crush home run, 101.3 off the bat, the projected distance of 405 feet. It's great seeing the reaction of Escobar out there, severely disappointed.
Gattis's other grand slam came back on May 22nd of 2013. As Marwin takes one for a ball, it's 2-2. That came against the Twins back at Minute Maid Park. Right out in front of the plate, Salvador Perez on it in a hurry, and an accurate throw to first for out number 2. This is only the 8th game of the road trip. I say only because it's the longest trip of the year, but in 8 games, Evan Gattis has 18 RBIs on this trip.
What did he have, 8 RBIs in the first month and a half or something crazy like that? Now he's just destroying baseballs for mass damage.
Well, I mean, 8 going into May 12th.
Man.
8 and 38 since May 12th. 38 in a little over a month and 3 days. And look, 90 degrees, it doesn't matter.
You look at him.
The sweatshirt hoodie is back. So as you look at it.
There's hits in those things, man.
It is a warm night here. Gattis just hit a grand slam. He's sweating.
grief. He's driving in runs and losing LBs.
He was trying to get to that next weight to wrestle as Brian McCann tried to check his swing, but he goes around. That'll do it for the Astros in the 6th, but some major damage done.
Yes, it is. Evan Gattis has been swinging the bat of late, and the Astros doing a good job of getting 3 guys on base for that grand slam off the bat of Evan Gattis.
Plummer diagrammed it well before the at-bat. Fear the beard, don't pitch up in the zone near that beard, and he showed you why with a grand slam, the 2nd of his career.
He's trying to get some fluids back in him after putting that sweatshirt on. We've seen him turn 4 different shades of red.
Here's Jorge Soler leading off against Charlie Morton and swings and fouls one. Astros with a 6-3 lead. You know, Jacob Junis, their starting pitcher, the 25-year-old, he's going to go away with a very mediocre line. 5 1/3 innings, 6 runs, but he pitched a lot better than that indicated.
Yeah, a couple of calls in that AB to Evan Gattis. If they go the other way, we saw him in our MD Anderson strike zone. If he gets a couple of those calls, change that AB around. But still, the decision just to throw the fastball in that vicinity like you were talking about and we had showed. Ooh. You always think you're going to sneak it by him, too, with a couple of strikes. Maybe you set him up for it, but, man, his eyes just get extremely big on those high fastballs. And Salvador Perez setting up on that outside corner and then just elevated in that. Man. Up and out over the plate. And that's a big man getting those arms extended, getting the barrel to it.
Now Charlie working with a 3-run lead. Soler goes crashing down as he leaves the batter's box. Alex Bregman can just soft toss it to first. Hopefully he's okay. Here's he is. He just stumbled out of the batter's box.
He's limping a little bit. Hopefully nothing too damaging.
Bregman did the smart thing and ran it halfway across and then just kind of soft tossed it to Marwood. No reason to take a risk there and make a wild throw.
Slider yanked. He kind of pulled up a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Interesting if he goes back out on the field after that, because I didn't see him slip at all.
Here's Alex Gordon. Gordon has had some trouble tonight with Charlie Morton. He has struck out twice, once swinging and once looking. Charlie has been able to make quick work of him both times. That was his last strikeout. Morton has 7 strikeouts. Last time Alex Gordon batted was second out in the 4th inning. Brad Peacock warming up for the Astros. Charlie's sitting at 88 pitches right now. Normally his threshold is right around 100. Up and in at 97. It's 2-1. Gordon's always been a thorn in the Astros side. 309 in his career against Houston. 333 in his last 9 games against the Astros. There's a strike. It's 2-2. Charlie consistently at 97 in what very well could be his final inning. Oh, he got him. He threw the curveball, and Alex started to walk back to the dugout. They checked at third, and Mike DeMuro said yes, he went around. 3 strikeouts of Gordon for Charlie Morton.
A lot of Astro fans here in the perspective behind the Astros dugout. You can see those orange jerseys and hats start to pop up as they recognize that ball going out. That is a beautiful scene on the road for the Houston Astros.
Now it looks like he's finally cooling off. Not as a hitter.
No.
As a Bear with a hoodie. 2 outs, base is cleared. Bring up Hunter Dozier. Dozier takes a called strike. Charlie, a nice little bounce back outing. Hasn't been exactly precision control all night long, especially when he walked 3 in a row in the 5th inning. But even in that 5th, he was just missing his spots. Against the shift, Dozier grounds one to the right side and has a 2-out base hit. The 2-out base runner, and that'll bring up Alcides Escobar.
We keep talking about the offense for the Houston Astros during this streak that they're on, winning a bunch of ball games in a row. And I thought the most interesting thing I saw was Richard Justice tweeted out some stats from that stretch, and a number that jumped at me was the starter ERA during this win streak the Astros are having. The starter ERA has been at 4.3, so that gives you an idea that the offense has been doing a lot of damage picking these guys up. But I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that they've had a lot of these early leads that we've talked about, so they've been pitching with bigger leads.
That's a great number, and it goes to show you that while this starting rotation carried the team really for the first couple of months, it was just a matter of time before the offense paid them back.
Absolutely. That's probably what a lot of the league feared, is having the Astros have this pitching and have the offense show up.
And not just because it's happened, but we sensed it even in April or May that there was probably going to be the possibility of a longish winning streak coming up sometime this summer because of the arms in the rotation. And the offense, once it came around with the pitching they were getting early, and it had the makings of what we're seeing now.
And it's nice to see them doing it against teams they should be doing it to, because they fought hard against the Cleveland Indians, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, playing in hostile environments, fighting out some wins, scratching out some wins. Maybe should have had a couple more wins, but now they're playing against teams with the sub 500 records and less potent offenses, and that matches up well with the good pitching that the Astros have, and now the offense firing on all cylinders, and they're picking up wins when they should. What's amazing is they haven't created that separation in the American League West yet.
Seattle keeps playing very good baseball. Mariners playing the Red Sox tonight. Swing and a miss. That could be the final batter for Charlie Morton. If it is, he ends it with a couple of strikeouts in the inning and 9 in the game. The Astros leading 6-3.
Group. Kauffman Stadium can be a big ballpark, but the Astros making it look small tonight. They had work to do. Alex Bregman cuts the lead in one with his solo shot in the fourth, and then Carlos Correa follows it with a deep home run there to tie things up. New ball game. 3 straight hits in the 6th, and Evan Gattis comes up to the plate, goes deep for a Gaddy slam. That's what I'm calling it. 5th home run on this road trip. And that's after striking out in his first 2 at-bats against that starting pitcher. So good for Gattis for making the adjustment, and the entire tone of the dugout changed right after that. This is a club that's been loose. By no means were they tense, but when Gattis comes into the dugout after hitting a home run, there's just something about them. They absolutely have been, they root for him. They love Gattis. They know how hard he worked to get out of the early season slumps. So they are so happy for what they are seeing from their teammate. But then to put him on top the way that he did, true Gaddy fashion here recently, guys.
Do you anticipate him walking to you for the post-game interview?
Oh, yeah. You mean the Evan Gattis post-game show featuring
Julia Morales?
featuring me?
Wow.
I get one little part. I get one little part. It's Evan's show. I get to just ask a question, and that's it.
Changes for the Kansas City Royals. We were wondering whether or not Jorge Soler would stay in the game after he stumbled coming out of the box. Well, he does not stay in the game. Whit Merrifield moves out to right field. Ryan Goins takes over at second base. And there's another base hit for Tony Kemp. 2 more hits for Kemp. That's 3 straight games that Kemp has started where he has at least 2 hits. He continues to turn that lineup over as he's on base for George Springer. The new pitcher for the Kansas City Royals is Justin Grimm.
Astros aren't done yet. They like to score late, too.
Springer looking for his first hit tonight. He is lined out to center, flied out to center, and struck out.
Justin Grimm is a guy averaging 93 miles an hour with the fastball. We've seen a couple of them so far. You just saw that slider coming in at 88 miles an hour. That's right on par with the average velocity on that pitch. He also has a curveball.
Grimm spent most of his career with the Chicago Cubs. Astros last saw him in this division in the AL West back when he was a Ranger 2012 and 13. Up a lot of runs this year. Just came back from the 10-day DL, had a back issue. Activated on Tuesday. 2-0 pitch is a strike. It's 2-1. Grimm has been better since coming back from the DL. Breaking ball. George gets into one, but just underneath it to left field. Tagging is Kemp. Gordon can throw runners out, and a perfect throw, and Tony Kemp is out. Outfield assist number 6 on the year for Alex Gordon. Kemp trying to take advantage, and he is thrown out.
It happens sometimes when you try to take advantage of Gold Glovers. You end up being a stat. Alex Gordon did a great job of getting behind that baseball, setting himself up to make a great throw. No need to push it right there, especially with this portion of the lineup coming up. Guess what? Another double play.
How about it? Here's Alex Bregman. Well, most left fielders don't throw the ball quite as well as Alex Gordon. That's one of the reasons why he's continuing to win Gold Gloves out there. It's individualized now by position. It's not just the 3 best outfielders, and Gordon has been one of the best left fielders for years. Bregman takes a pitch upstairs. 2-0. Alex with a solo home run and 3 at-bats. Also is lined to third and flied out to left for Bregman, his 9th home run of the year. By the way, guess who took over the RBI lead for the Astros tonight?
I guess he's bald and bearded.
The guy who had 8 runs batted in heading into play on May 12th now leads the team in runs batted in. 4-pitch walk to Bregman, and he will reach with 2 outs.
Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park on Saturday, June 23rd as they take on the Royals. 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Yuli gnome with troll hair. For more information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions.
I think Julie was checking out a commercial they were doing with Yuli and the gnome.
I saw the commercial. It was on the Astros Instagram, I believe, and it was perfect.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yuli's in a barbershop or salon?
No, I think he's was it the family room downstairs at the stadium in Minute Maid Park?
You're
and
not supposed to give it. You're giving
did I
away
just
all
get yelled
the
at?
secrets.
Oh, where you got secrets?
Everybody knows.
Does everyone know?
All right.
I think it was supposed to look like a barber shop, but the troll got a haircut too.
These guys don't go to
Got
barbershops.
La Pina. That's true.
Big leaguers don't go to barbershops.
That's
I'm
true.
dispelling a myth that nobody knew about. I apologize, but big leaguers don't go to the barbershop.
And Yuli's troll hair doll doesn't either.
You don't have a La Pina hairdo at a barbershop. This guy brings in talent to cut that mop.
Altuve down to the count 0-2.
But they dressed up that commercial, and Yuli did a fantastic job in it.
Yuli's personality is off the charts.
Yeah, and you get a little bit better look at the gnome itself, and it is spectacular. I am highly jealous of it.
I'll be this next homestand.
I'm going to get one.
We all will, I hope. Alex Bregman on first with 2 outs. Slow grounder towards third, knowing he has to hustle. Moose throws a strike across to get Altuve for the final out. The Astros will head into the 7th inning stretch here at Kauffman Stadium with a 6-3 lead, and we will turn it over to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
Verlander, Cole, McCullers Jr., all with 8 wins. And guess what? We can update that if this score holds out for the Houston Astros and they finish off this game. Charlie Morton coming into this game today was 7-1. Now he left with the lead. But that is some fantastic pitching by 3 of the 5 starters so far, racking up wins, using that offense behind them and using that devastating stuff to get swings and misses to win those ball games. In this game now is Brad Peacock.
Peacock with a big strikeout in his last outing. It came in Oakland against Stephen Piscotty. At that point, it was a 3-run game, and the bases were loaded with 2 outs. Colin McHugh left the game, and Peacock came in and got a big strikeout.
And we've seen Peacock being used in a little more of those specific instances to get the Astros out of some innings, out of some damage. And Colin McHugh ran into some trouble with a couple of walks, and Brad Peacock came in and blew the doors off that inning to get them out of it. So it was kind of nice We've seen him go extended outings also. He is a versatile guy out of that bullpen.
And we have seen him this year at times be inconsistent with that pitch last year that was so devastating, the slider. But he was able to get Piscotty with that slider last time, and there it is again. And even though it was just one batter, it was in a big spot. As we see the Cupid shuffle defensively with Jake Marisnick in center, George Springer moving from center to right, Josh Reddick from right to left, and Tony Kemp out of the game. So if Brad can, if you have a line of demarcation for the season, if that last outing can get him jump started to where he was last year, it'll be fun to see the Brad Peacock back of 2017. Now that's a slider that Orlando didn't offer because it was way off the plate, but this guy was as good as anybody out of the bullpen last year.
And he's still got good numbers on the season, but we really haven't seen that power slider from him. It still seems like he's feeling for that grip. We saw a good one in this AB against Paolo, but you're right, that last time out against Piscotty, he said we saw that good wipeout slider, and there we go again.
There it is. I hope that last one was the start of something good. And like you said, the numbers aren't bad. And Brad's still having a fine year, but it hasn't been close to what we saw last year where he was nearly unhittable. And if he can start getting on a roll. Oof.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. That is a very good pitch for Brad Peacock, and the one that vaulted him into that pressure roll coming out of the bullpen for the Astros.
Here's Abraham Almonte. Every once in a while you peek into your bullpen stats. Normally you look at the other team's bullpen before a series, and here's Peacock's slider.
It's a good one. Tight, sharp, late break.
Just noticed today, looking at the Astros bullpen stats, kind of shocking in a way. The two guys last year who were highest in whiff percentage, Giles and Peacock, are now on the lower end in the bullpen. Everybody else has a higher whiff percentage than those two, and that's eventually going to, they're eventually going to regress back towards the mean and get back closer to their numbers of last year. They may not catch up to their numbers of last year.
I'm going to say, if they get back to the numbers they had last year, my goodness.
But it points out two things. Number one, Brad just hasn't been getting as many swings and misses because that breaking ball hasn't been as sharp. And number two, all these other guys in the bullpen are getting swings and misses. It's been a fun year to watch a lot of strikeouts out of the bullpen too. This week on Astros Bases Loaded, Baggy powers into the broadcast booth. El Oso Blanco talks about hitting the high ones like tonight. And AJ flips the script on Julia. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded. It'll be after tonight's game on the postgame show, after the postgame show on AT&T Sportsnet. Timing on Gaddis hitting pitches up in the zone. Peacock retiring the first two batters and now facing Whit Merrifield. Ooh, good life on that fastball. Even coming in at 93, a late swing from Merrifield. It's 0-1. Six innings for Morton. Charlie goes 6 innings, 3 earned runs on just 4 hits. Ran into a little bit of control issues in the 5th when he walked 3 in a row, including one with the bases loaded. But overall, it was a really good bounce back start for Charlie Morton.
I still battled around 4 walks, but the 9 strikeouts back up again.
Good take there by Merrifield. It's 2-1. You showed that stat coming out of the break, a chance for 4 starters to have 8 wins, and tonight is game number 71 on the season. Ball's hit pretty well to center field, but Jake's back there, and that usually means it's an out, and it is as he puts it away on the edge of the warning track. 1-2-3 inning for Peacock in the 7th.
HOU energy. Plenty of energy behind that swing from Carlos Correa. 3-1 fastball destroyed over the bleachers out there in left field. 2 for 3 with a home run and 2 runs. And he's also keeping some runners off the board. Nice backhanded play on Salvador Perez. Sitting back on this high chopper and throwing an absolute dart over to first base that Marwin picked up nicely. Threw it so hard that StatCast was unable to register how hard he threw it.
Correa leading things off against a new pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. 4th pitcher of the game, 3rd reliever. It is the 28-year-old right-hander out of Tyler, Texas, Birch Smith.
He has got to be chomping at the bit to throw a baseball in a big league game.
He has not pitched since June 4th, Plummer.
It's incredible.
Sometimes you have a Rule 5 guy on your roster, as this is the case with Birch, who doesn't get a lot of appearances. He was selected by the Mets out of the Tampa Bay Rays organization, and then the Mets moved him to Kansas City in a trade, and then he's thrown a couple of strikes to Correa. It's 0-2. Fastball 93, also has a curveball and a changeup.
'98.
He's bringing it.
Get it ready.
He has had high octane, high upper 90s, and he can every once in a while touch 100, but he had some Tommy John surgery. Had Tommy John surgery back in 2015, then in his recovery had a little setback in 2016, so kind of had a stall in his career for a little while, but now back at the big league level after pitching for San Diego 5 years ago. On the ground, that is a fair ball, glove there, and the flip made to Smith covering in time. Dozier makes the play to his pitcher covering. Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park a week from tonight as they take on the Kansas City Royals. 10,000 fans in attendance will receive an Astros fedora presented by Goya. For more information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions. That's right, the Royals back in town next weekend. Back-to-back weekends, these two teams will be facing each other. Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick 1 for 3. His single low to the bases in front of the Evan Gattis grand slam. This one off Smith. Moustakas bare hands, throws on the run, out at first base. Reddick can't believe it. The good news for Josh is he can relax because they do have video review if he's right. He's so convinced he's taken off the shin guard.
Taking off all the gear. Yeah, he's like, no, I'm safe.
If AJ doesn't challenge this, Reddick's going to snap. AJ will challenge it.
Yeah, we don't need to take a trip to Snapville.
You can see Josh was so heated after he got on the bag, and then I think it dawned on him, well, we do have a review. I think he's safe. Naked eye thought he was safe.
Yeah, watching the play on the field, I thought he was safe too, and
yeah,
he's going to end up being safe.
So Josh will be very happy. He and Alex Cintron already going over his pickoff move and his times to home plate.
There's a lot of equipment now in that tunnel that is very happy to know that this could be overturned.
Nice play by Moustakas, but Josh, as always, busting it down the line. This should be a relatively quick review, and it is, and Reddick is on first base. Mark Wegner, who's the crew chief who made the call, says that they overturned that call, and now Reddick on first with 1 out.
27 games, 38 RBIs for Evan Gattis. It's got to be the hoodie.
5 fewer games than when he had 8.
That OPS up over 1,000. Slugging 716. I mean, that's swinging a good bat, but a very powerful bat
for an extended period of time.
Well, just over a month of games. I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Evan's the only guy on this team that has faced Birch Smith before. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and he takes a called strike. Grand slam number 2 of his career, his last time up. first one in 5 years. Done everything else during this streak. Might as well hit a slam as he did his last time up. Smith drops in the breaking ball for a strike. That was his curveball. He also features a changeup. Curveball comes in around 78, 79. The changeup around 81, 82. Down the line and left, and that will be a fair ball towards the corner. Reddick, a good break off first. He'll be held up. Evan Gaddis with a double. Josh was really thinking he was going to score. Had to dive back into third.
Yeah, but Alex Gordon played that corner perfectly. Guess what? Evan got a hit. And it was also an extra base hit, which he's been doing a lot. Likes that pitch in. Did a good job bringing the hands in, keeping that ball fair. Not easy to do, but Alex Gordon, if he doesn't play that as nicely as he does off that wall, that's another RBI.
A rare hit for Evan without a run batted in.
You see that? I think he was calling for the hoodie.
Infield comes in now with Marwin Gonzalez batting. Marwin a chance with a couple of runners in scoring position, and the infield in. Takes a pitch for a ball. That was the curveball. Gaddis hit a changeup, and Birch Smith really slowed up his delivery on that changeup. Gaddis had a good look at it, roped it into the corner and left.
Good swing.
Marwin batting left-handed for the third time tonight. He grounded out as a right-hand hitter. As a lefty, he's walked and robbed on a great play by Alex Gordon.
That was a hanging changeup, and with Marwin in the last week or so doing a good job of driving that baseball the other way, was looking to do the same on that hanging changeup.
Snap throw to third. Out at third base is Josh Reddick. Salvador Perez can pick you off with the best of them, and he just got Josh Reddick trying to take an extended lead at third.
You want to be aggressive and get good leads, but you don't want to do it at the risk of being thrown out. You've got to understand that the catcher behind home plate, even with the gold numbers on his back, he's also got gold in that glove too. Saw an opportunity, works well with Moustakas down there and setting up that play. But as well as Marwin's been playing, you can't be that aggressive.
Strike called on the inside corner, and now it's 2-2. Astros another double-digit hit game. They had double-digit hits in every game in Oakland. 10 more tonight. They averaged 13 hits a game in that 3-game series against the Athletics. That ball's hit well to right field. Merrifield looking up, and this ball is short hopped against the right center field wall. Scoring easily is Gaddis. Marwin into second with a ringing double, and the Astros now lead 7-3.
Saw a couple of good fastballs down from Birch Smith. So we dialed it up a notch and squared this one up. Wanted it down and away. It's down and in. Not much thought process for a guy like Marwin Gonzalez on the fastball. He can just drop the head and lean back on it and hope that he has enough launch angle to get that thing out. But it was just too much of a line drive. Stayed in the ballpark. Good swings. We're seeing great swings from Marwin.
That looks like the one you diagrammed before the game.
Just sat there. He's doing a good job of getting that front foot down and keeping the hands back. And that's just loaded energy waiting to unload on a pitch that he likes.
He's in the best zone he's been in all year. Last couple of weeks. Brian McCann bats now with a runner on second and 2 outs.
If it wasn't for Salvador Perez, there'd be another run on the board.
Yep. Pitch misses. It's 1-1. McCann has popped up, fly to right, and struck out. Now it's 1-2. On the ground, just foul. Gloved over there by Dozier. McCann just pulled it foul. Stays 1-2. Coming into tonight, the Royals, as a staff, had allowed an ERA of 5.27. Nobody else in baseball has allowed an ERA of 5 or more. That one's fouled back to our left. Oh, guy who has not pitched since June 4th. Shows making him work a little bit this inning. For the most part, Smith has showed good command without pitching in a while. 16 of his 20 pitches have been for strikes. And he gets Brian McCann here. Astros score a run, though, on 3 hits. They leave one man and now lead at 7-3.
We asked tonight which Astros player is most in need of a cool nickname. 41% vote for Jose Altuve. It was close, though. 33 for Justin Verlander. Springer with 26. I saw a few tweets.
You did? What do they say they should nickname them?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that.
You said you saw a few tweets.
Yeah.
I did.
So you're just going to drop it in
What just
down?
happened right there?
That was Grand Slams ago.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember.
Here, I'll pick you up right here on this one. I actually got a funny tweet earlier. Somebody tweeted and said that their autocorrect changed Jose Altuve to Al Tuesday.
Al Tuesday.
Al Tuesday. Instead of Jose Altuve, it was Jose Al Tuesday.
Oh, there was an adorable in there.
There you go.
I like that one.
It's kind of funny though that those three don't have like the
Well, it's like, I call him Hosey every once in a while. We get a couple of Tuves. We hear the guys call him Tuve when they're trying to get his attention, but not a legitimate nickname.
hearing Groovy Tuve.
Yeah.
Somebody came up with. New pitcher for the Astros is Tony Sipp, facing Mike Moustakas, who has driven in all 3 runs for the Royals.
Tony Sipp is in a good pocket right now, doing a good job for the Houston Astros out of that bullpen. Fastball, slider, split. We haven't seen him for a while.
Ooh.
Pretty nasty slider there.
Quick work of Moose. Tony Sipp striking him out on 3 pitches.
Well, that's what you want to see from Tony. Got that one left-hander out there. His job's to go out and get left-handed hitters out. And Moose has been a thorn in the side of Charlie Morton early on. Doesn't have an answer for that slider.
So 1 out, and he'll face Salvador Perez now. Salvi fouls one back. It's 0-1. I love how Julia said, I saw some tweets.
It went dark.
And then I followed up. What did you see?
And I knew it was coming too. I knew the follow-up was coming. My app was not open. I was not prepared.
and if you know TK well enough, you know he's going to follow up with something. You got to be on your toes.
Saw some tweets.
Just
don't ask me about it.
You wonder why my scorecard has so many notes and numbers on it, because I got to be ready for TK.
Dadgummit. I wasn't ready.
He just dropped a dadgummit. I think he made AT&T Sportsnet history with that.
Keith Jackson.
I haven't said that before on the air.
I don't think so.
Not since Keith Jackson. Or Bobby Bowden. 0-2 the count to Salvador Perez.
My Mimi and Papa are so proud right now.
Is this Astros After Dark?
This is great.
We're still on West Coast time.
We are.
Mentally?
Oh, man. Did we just work Mimi and Papa into the show?
Sure.
It's awesome.
Not going to follow up with that.
No. The stage is yours.
Oh. 2.
We'll see you guys post game.
2 strikes to Salvador Perez. Now fans are going to want me to follow up. Now I feel bad. 1-2 the count. Is there a story behind this, or should we just go forward with the game?
Is there a story behind Mimi and Papa?
Being proud of you saying dadgummit.
Oh yeah, that's what we say.
Oh, okay.
We're from the country.
Swing and a miss. How about Sipp striking out both batters he has faced? Swinging.
That was a split.
Oh, yeah, a little slider than split action to get a couple of good hitters.
That was a Sipp split.
You know, Tony has struggled at times the last couple of years, but he's been pretty good here this season.
Man, that's a great visual on the effect that split-fingered fastball can have. Kind of slows down the rotation a little bit and tumbles in there.
He has held lefties like Moose, and now he's facing a lefty in Ryan Goins to a 2 for 28 this year. That's second in the American League of pitchers who have faced at least 25 hitters. So he has been, in 2018, one of the elites facing lefties. And that's really the reason they signed him to that deal in the first place.
Absolutely. And you're starting to see some of the pitches that were good for Tony. It was locating the fastball in the low 90s, but it was the ability to throw that slider that sweeps across to get the swing and miss from left-handed hitters. But that split finger is really a pitch that we haven't seen maybe in the last 2 years from Tony Sipp.
And he's dotting up some pitches too. It's 1-1 to Goins. Goins getting his first at bat. He took over at second base, pushing Merrifield to right. And we're learning that Jorge Soler broke a toe in his left foot, leaving the batter's box in his last at bat.
It's not good.
This ball into right center field hit pretty well, and Springer on the move, and he will watch it go all the way to the wall. Goins will hold up at second with a 2-out double.
That wasn't the put away slider. That one stayed up a little bit, out over the zone for Goins. But you just shake it off and know you've got another left-handed hitter up there that you've got to deal with.
Yeah, this is the pocket A.J. Hinch likes. He faced 3 out of 4 lefties in this inning. And you would think with bullpen action going right now, Colin McHugh warming up, that this would be one way or the other the last batter that Tony Sipp faces. Either he gets through the 8th, or Colin McHugh will come on to face the right-hand hitting Hunter Dozier. Alex Gordon just happy to see somebody other than Charlie Morton. Grounds one towards second. Altuve is there. Tony Sipp with a shutout 8th inning will take the Astros to the 9th with a 7-3 lead.
AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. DK.
All right, Julia, on we go to the 9th inning. And the new pitcher for the Kansas City Royals is the left-hander, 28-year-old Brian Flynn.
Got some numbers on Brian Flynn. 19 games he's pitched in, a 4.65 ERA. That whip getting up there, 1.71. He's got 15 walks in 31 innings to go with his 19 strikeouts. 92-mile-an-hour fastball, has a changeup and a slider.
Jake Marisnick gets his first at bat. Jake came in as part of a defensive switch for the Astros. Tony Kemp leaves the game 2 for 3, and Jake digs in. Was a 400 hitter against the Royals last year. Count of 1-1 now. Flynn is the 5th pitcher for the Royals tonight. Jake fouls one back. It'll be Jake, and then the top of the order, George Springer and Alex Bregman. Jake hits one hard into left center field. That's down for a hit. Gordon cuts it off. That'll hold Marisnick to a single.
Time now to name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Monster trade, switcheroo, and drop the mic. Who is it? Carlos Beltran. Huge trade from the Royals to the Astros in 2004. He's got 435 career home runs, fourth all-time among switch hitters, and retired after winning the World Series with these Houston Astros last season.
Like going out on top, a long time for Carlos Beltran to wait for that first World Series championship. As Flynn now, the left-hander, will face Springer, Bregman if it goes any further, Altuve, Correa. Takes a called strike. George looking for his first hit. Lined out to center, flied out to center, struck out and flied out into a double play as Tony Kemp tried to advance on a tag up. Pitch down low, it's 2-1. Top third of the order, Blummer, not the hottest part of the order tonight.
Oh, that middle third doing a great job, especially at the home run baseball. 7 through 9 guys picking it up again. Depth of this lineup.
Could see another double play. Quick turn by Goins at second. And once again, the Astros have hit into 2 double plays in a game. It seems like it's a regular feature during this winning streak.
I feel like they're trading double plays for runs scored. But the whole team together, brought to you by Lowe's. We talked about it in the open. 1 through 3, the batting average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. Very good in all parts of the order, and that's something we really saw in 2017. Is that the depth of this lineup is amazing, and it's great to see the slugging percentage jump in that 7 through 9 spot, namely because of the DH.
Is AJ challenging the fact that Goins wasn't on the bag?
Possibly.
Huh. Okay. Well, maybe they didn't hit into 2 double plays. AJ's had a good trip too.
Yeah.
Got that balk call.
You talked about how quick Goins was, and Escobar with the flip. Was there enough steam on it?
Ooh, he might have been up in the air.
Jake might be back at second base.
He might have been up in the air. Not so sure. AJ figures it was worth a challenge here. You could put a runner in scoring position and try and add to that lead. You see here, Blummer.
Well, maybe a spike is on the bag when that ball's in the back of the glove. Maybe. Is there enough to overturn it is the question.
Was there enough? Well, call's going to stand probably. AJ took a shot, felt it was worth it at this point of the game. And the call, in fact, does stand. It's not confirmed. So the Astros' multiple double plays continues. Craziest part of this winning streak is they've been able to work around hitting into a lot of double plays. So Alex Bregman will bat with 2 outs and the bases cleared. Pitch down from Flynn. It's 1-0.
AJ wasn't too happy with that call. In case you were wondering.
Bregman fouls one back to the screen. 1-1.
You said 2 more double plays.
Yes.
So they're at 68 double plays on the season.
Sounds about right. Nice play by Goins there. As he gets Bregman for the final out of the inning. 1 hit, no one left on base. We head to the bottom of the 9th in a 4-run game. Places. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. AJ Hinch, Julie Morales had a chance to tour the Negro League Museum before the game, one of the popular spots here in Kansas City. As we head to the bottom half of the ninth inning, the Astros with a 4-run lead will go to Colin McHugh.
Colin McHugh is going to try and bring this thing to a close. A little bit of a rough time last time out against the Oakland A's, but has great numbers on the season. 21 appearances. That WHIP is under 1 and the ERA at 1.20. What's been nice to see from Colin McHugh is a little bit added extra velocity. Knowing he has to pitch in a shorter stint, he's able to unload a little bit. Been touching 92, 93 consistently. The slider's been pretty good too.
So he will face the numbers 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Royals lineup. Hunter Dozier swings the first pitch. Fouls one into the upper deck. Dozier beat the shift his last time up, grounding a single to the right side. He has 3 on the left side as the Astros do not expect him to hit a ball the other way. Charlie Morton pitched 6 innings. Brad Peacock the 7th. Tony Sipp the 8th, and now Colin McHugh on for the 9th. Nice curveball, called strike. He's ahead of the young first baseman, 0-2. Astros trying to win their 9th game in a row and send the Royals to their 10th loss in the last 11 games. Swing and a miss. McHugh gets Dozier for the first out.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's the Miller Lite hold true moment. And the bearded one stepped in and got a high fastball and unloaded a charge into the left center field seats. Grand slam for Evan Gattis. Much to the delight of some of the local Houston Astro fans, either in the area or traveling in to watch their Astros put up a big 7 spot.
Here's Alcides Escobar. 0 for 3 tonight. A ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Mentioned I was looking through the Astros bullpen numbers today, and the thing that surprised me was the whiff percentage. The other note that might surprise you is the guy with the highest K percentage in the bullpen, Colin McHugh.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's close. McHugh's 33.3%. There's 4 guys 30% or higher. Colin McHugh has been getting his fair share of strikeouts. Now he gets a pop-up. Marwin Gonzalez looks like he'll have room, and he does. And that's out number 2 in the 9th. Last year, the Astros' longest winning streak of the season was an 11-gamer. They are trying to take this road trip to a perfect 8-0 and win their 9th game in a row. Best road trip of 10 games in Astros franchise history is an 8-2 road trip. Best road trip of 9 games or more is an 8-1 road trip that we saw last season. AJ Hinch's team this year has a chance to eclipse both of those marks. And Colin McHugh 1 pitch away. He's ahead of Paulo Orlando, 0-2. Charlie Morton stands to win his 8th game of the year. Astros scoring 2 in the 4th, 4 more in the 6th, and tacking on 1 more in the 8th. Lead this game 7-3. It is 90 degrees here.
If you're hot, you got to stay hot.
Swing and no swing. Thought that was it, but Mark Wegner said he didn't go around. It's 2-2. Orlando lives for another pitch. Paulo had a couple of hits against Charlie Morton, 2 of the 4 he allowed. And Evan thinking that might have been a swing. Astros and Royals back at it tomorrow. Day game tomorrow, day game on Sunday. Verlander and Cole wrapped up the Oakland series. Tomorrow will be Dallas Keuchel in the battle of lefties against Danny Duffy. On Sunday, Lance McCullers Jr. against young right-hander Brad Keller. There it is, swing and a miss. Colin McHugh strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 ninth. And the Houston Astros have won 9 in a row this season and are 8-0 on this 10-game road trip. Charlie Morton wins his 8th game. Evan Gattis with 4 more runs batted in. And he will stroll out to the pitcher's mound to start the handshake line. Astros win it 7-3. Back with more, including the postgame show after this.